Hello, my friends. I hope you're all doing very well. Today we're going to be continuing to learn the laws of ethics in Rambam, where the Rambam tells us what is the correct and the proper way for a person to live his lifestyle. So we were starting to learn about the various traits and characteristics of how a person is supposed to live their life. For instance, that a person shouldn't be very haughty. On the other hand, a person should not have any enjoyment and not have any feeling. So in other words, we're always supposed to be in the middle path and to live a good, balanced lifestyle. So today, in chapter 3 of the laws of ethics, the Rambam continues. Maimonides comes and tells us, maybe a person will come and say, because we're not supposed to be envious and have many desires and to want to have lots of honor and so on and so forth, because all of these things are negative. So then maybe I should live my life in a way where I am totally cut off from the world, and I will not eat and not drink. I will never eat any meat. I will never drink any wine. I will never get married, and I won't wear nice clothing. I'll just wear maybe like a garbage bag or... No. So the Rambam tells us, don't take this to the wrong extreme. Don't misunderstand what I'm trying to tell you. Because the Rambam says that a person has to live a normal, balanced life. Not too much to the one side, but also not too much to the other side, where the person will push any good part of life away and not to live a normal, regular lifestyle. So we do find that there are certain cultures and maybe religions which do that, and that is something which in Judaism is very frowned upon, and we're not allowed to do that. A person is supposed, and it's actually, such a person is called a sinner, because God wants us to, as we find in regards to there's a mitzvah which we spoke about when we were counting all the mitzvot. A mitzvah of the Nazir, of a Nazirite. A Nazirite is someone who takes upon himself not to drink any wine, not to cut his hair, to be secluded to a certain extent from the pleasures of the world. And that person, he's allowed to do that, and the person is allowed to become a Nazir. And when he does it, he's not allowed to drink any wine, he's not allowed to cut his hair, he's not allowed to get impure. So there are various laws of what a person is supposed to be doing when he is a Nazir, when he is a Nazirite. But at the end, at the conclusion of it, he has to bring a sacrifice. And it actually says that this is an atonement sacrifice, because, as it says, is it not enough for you that which the Torah has forbidden from you to do? And you are taking upon yourself extra stringencies and extra prohibitions? In other words, the Torah already tells us we have 365 negative commandments, things which we're not allowed to do. There is no commandment to add on extra things that we're not allowed to do. So, for a person to say, I will never eat meat, I will never get married, not to have any pleasures of the world, that is something which it's not a positive thing, and it's actually quite a negative thing. It's a sin. So, as it says in the verse, do not be overly righteous and do not be overly clever. Why make yourself desolate? In other words, King Solomon tells us in this verse, don't think you're smarter than God. God tells you you're not allowed to do this, so you're not allowed to do that. But don't just go and add on things on your own which you feel that make you feel good and not allowed and not doing them. God tells you that you're allowed to do it, so then you should do it. On the contrary, it's a positive thing. It's a mitzvah to eat meat. It's a mitzvah to be healthy, as we're going to see the various details of... obviously, if someone doesn't want to eat meat for a different reason, that's a different idea. But if it's in order to be holy and the person is going to fast and doesn't want to be involved with the worldly matters, so then that's a negative thing. If it's for health reasons or for other reasons, so then that's a different discussion. So he says that in general, a person has to always direct their heart and their totality of their behavior for one goal. That goal is to become aware of God and to serve Him. And that's when we go to sleep, when we wake up, when we speak, and everything in between always is going to be directed for this purpose. For example, when a person is involved in business dealings, or he has a job, so a person shouldn't just think, "Oh, I want to have a lot of money. This is why I'm working. I want to become rich." That's not a positive way of thinking, but rather, the person should want to have money so that he can be able to live a good life and is able to serve God properly. Similarly, also in regards to our bodily needs, in eating, drinking, having a home, having a wife or a husband, etc. So when we are involved in all these physical needs that we have, eating, drinking, intimate relations, etc., we shouldn't just do these things solely for our own pleasure, just because it makes us feel good. It's delicious, it's yummy. Ooh, what a good slice of pizza. No, obviously we shouldn't, as we said earlier, we shouldn't take away all our taste buds and totally take away any pleasure from this world. But we have to know what the focus is. Where are we heading? What do we want? So we shouldn't just be eating anything that we feel like, but rather we should be eating things that are healthy for us. Whether it's a bitter thing or a sweet thing, as long as that it's healthy and it's constructive and it's making us to become a better human being, so then that's a good thing. And that depends on the person, on the style of the various nature of the person. Certain things are healthier for them to eat, certain things are not as healthy for them to eat, and so on. Similarly, also when we're talking about sexual relations. So it shouldn't just be for a person's own personal pleasure whenever he feels like it. So then, that's it, the world has come to an end. But rather, there is a purpose over here, and there are certain times when it's very positive, and when naturally a person feels that it's the right time for this, or if we're talking about procreation, so then that's definitely a very positive thing. But it's not just at this, at the flick of the hand that we go and enjoy ourselves and do whatever we want. So the Rambam says that when a person accustoms himself to live according to this proper way, he shouldn't just be doing it. A person shouldn't just eat to be healthy and to have children so people can take over his farm once he passes away. But rather, we should do it because we want to be serving God, and that we should be able to serve God properly. And if we're going to be sick, we won't be able to do this. And God wants us to be healthy. So we're doing it for we're doing our physical needs, but with a spiritual goal. And then, essentially, if a person is always focused in such a way, then whatever he might be doing, whatever it is, in the course of their day, or across their life, it's always going to be serving God. They're always going to be serving God, because no matter what they're doing, it's always with the common goal and purpose of doing what God wants us to do. And even when a person sleeps, it's not just he's sleeping because he enjoys to sleep, but rather he wants to sleep so that he can be healthy, that he can be awake, he can ultimately serve God properly. And as it says in the Mishnah, that all your deeds should be for the sake of heaven, and that we should know Him, we should know God in all our ways, and then God will strengthen our path. Because when we have that focus, and we're always wanting to serve God in whatever we're doing in our life, so then God will then also be involved in our life and give us that blessing and give us that strength to make sure that we have the best possible life. And with that, we complete chapter 3 of the Laws of Ethics for today. And we will continue them tomorrow, continuing these fascinating laws of what is the correct way for a person to live our life. So, have a very good one, and we will see you tomorrow.